Good morning. I'm Natasha Chugtai.
I'm Jeff Eliasoff. Congratulations to all the accountants out there who, I guess, are putting most of their hard work to bed. The tax day passed yesterday. I'm sure everybody filed for extensions and all that, but you guys deserve vacations. My goodness, the hard work those last couple of weeks. And you're going to be rewarded, I think, at least with a 70-degree day today.
Yeah, got a couple showers that were trying.
From that point of view.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
New this morning at 6:03, one person was injured during a shooting in Cedar Rapids last night. It happened at about 9:30 at the intersection of 5th Avenue and 20th Street. The condition and name of the person injured have not been released. Cedar Rapids police say they have not taken a shooter into custody. They say they're investigating what led up to the fight and the shooting. Stay with us throughout the day for the latest.
Closing arguments slated for tomorrow in the trial of a Waterloo man accused of killing Marcellus Andrews. Yesterday, the prosecution showed post-mortem pictures of Andrews' body. The pictures were so disturbing, Paris Anding, the man accused of killing Andrews, had to leave the courtroom. Later in the afternoon, Anding took the stand to defend himself. He demonstrated how he used the bat, but he said that he was trying to defend his aunt, Tony Phillips, after he saw Andrews go after her with what he thought was a weapon.
It wasn't no slow motion, I'm raising a weapon slowly, about to come back and hit somebody. It was a fast-paced thing. So I just did, out of action, what I thought was necessary.
Which was to strike him in the head with a baseball bat.
Not to strike him in the head, but to strike towards him. Wasn't aiming at his head directly.
Where did you think you were going to hit him?
I could have hit him in his, anywhere, shoulder, anywhere. I mean, I'm not necessarily, I'm reaching over somebody to hit him, so I'm not thinking, oh, I'm about to hit him right across his head and he's going to die. It was nothing like that.
After Anding's testimony, the defense rested its case and court adjourned. The court will take today off and come back for closing arguments tomorrow morning. A maximum sentence for second-degree murder is 50 years in prison. This one has some people scratching their heads.
Yeah.
5 Buena Vista University students are in the hospital this morning, and their science instructor is on leave after a scary incident, to say the least.
This is very strange. University officials say the students were doing a student-led science experiment with caffeine when they got sick, some of them. Jacob Peklo shows us why this kind of experiment proved to be dangerous.
It's just very bizarre. I've never heard of anything like it.
I don't think I have either. I don't remember people ingesting things during experiments, but some ingested too much. Important thing is that there obviously is other control groups that took the right amount. So somehow this one group got away.
Well, we'll see what happens. One of the students in the class says he had to sign a waiver before participating in the labs.
University officials are investigating whether the instructor administered or approved that dosage of caffeine before giving it to the students in that lab.
Coming up on Today in Iowa, holding on to get the bad guy. But what happens next?
And later in sports, area track athletes look for Drake Relay's qualifying performances. This is some of the biggest track and field stuff going on anywhere in the world. And this is Iowa's News Channel 7 in high definition. 100 days left until this summer's Olympics. Boy, we're right on cue with that music. Love it.
We will have a special Olympic treat this weekend right here in Iowa. Yes. This is exciting. The Wrestling Olympic Trials will be held at Carver Hawkeye Arena this weekend. The
event is expected to set big-time attendance records. I mean, Iowa is just king when it comes to wrestling. This morning, News Channel 7's Nikki Newbrough is live at a very good spot, the Dan Gable International Wrestling Institute and Museum in Waterloo. Nikki, with these trials, we know that place is surely hopping this morning.
Oh, it certainly is, especially this morning. We have a very, very special treat. Chuck Youngblood, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And are you getting excited for the trials this weekend?
Oh, yeah, I'm extremely excited. It's just going to be a great atmosphere. It's a great event, 2 days of wrestling, and a lot of dreams will come true for some guys, trying to make the United States Olympic team.
Yeah, and Chuck, you made the Olympic team in 1980, but you weren't able to wrestle because the Soviets invaded Afghanistan. We boycotted that Olympics. What were your feelings at the time?
Well, at the time, obviously, it was a pretty crushing blow. I mean, my dream was to win an Olympic gold medal, represent the United States in the Olympics. So it was just, it's a shattering of a dream, but, life goes on. I mean, I was an alternate in 1976, so those Olympics were in Montreal. So I had the opportunity to go to Montreal and see the Olympics, get in the Olympic Village, experience some of that. So that was neat. And 80 obviously would have been great for me. I was in the peak of my life, 26 years old. I was, perfect age for a wrestler. So.
Yeah, how did that announcement get to you? When was the first time you heard that? You heard Jimmy Carter say it, and it was big news. Who told you first? How did you find out?
The news came out in January of 1980, and you know, I actually can't remember how I first heard it. I don't know if Coach Gable might have told me, or if I turned the TV set on and saw it, or you know, it was one of those things that you know I really didn't believe it was happening or was going to happen, but obviously it did.
Yeah. And you have a gold medal here with you. Explain how you got this medal.
Yeah, the United States Congress approved to give all the athletes on the Summer Olympic team in 1980, it was 450 athletes, a gold medal. So we went to Washington, D.C., we got to meet with President Carter, shake his hand, and they each gave each one of us a gold medal, which now they went back 3 years ago retroactively and designated as a congressional gold medal. So it's one of the highest honors that a civilian can receive. So I'm pretty proud of it.
That's wonderful. And before those Olympics, you said you went to the Soviet Union and kind of explained the conditions there. You're saying it was not so favorable. Yeah,
I went twice on trips for 2 weeks at a time to the Soviet Union on wrestling trips, and it was really a backwards country compared to the United States. I mean, it was very depressing. You know, no colors, everything was drab. You know, the public facilities were not, you know, up to our standards. So it was really a depressing place to go to.
Yeah, wonderful, Chuck. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll have more with Chuck in our next half hour. If you look up hard work in the dictionary, you'll see Chuck's name. We'll talk about his career, and we'll talk more about the museum coming up in the next half hour. We're getting ready for the Olympics. It's a lot of fun here, a lot of buzz here at the museum. I'm Nikki Newbrough for KWWL, Iowa's News Channel 7.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much,
Really
Nikki.
great.
And this weekend, we will have full coverage of the wrestling Olympic trials.
This, we're going to show you some video from a clinic put on by Dan Gable just a few weeks ago on the topic of international wrestling. Talk about a guy who's still active in his sport. Now, Ron Steele and Rick Coleman will be live at the trials in Iowa City during our 5 and 6 o'clock newscasts on Friday. They'll feature some of the athletes going for Olympic gold this summer in London.
And the University of Iowa will unveil a bronze statue dedicated to the great wrestling coach and Olympic athlete Dan Gable. It'll be outside of the main entrance to Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Now that ceremony starts at 4:30 this afternoon, and we'll have coverage of the big event on our evening newscasts this afternoon and evening. Wow.
Super exciting stuff.
Really is.
Really
and
exciting.
Boy, I've learned a lot today
Yeah.
about wrestling in particular and good human beings who participate in the
Absolutely.
sport. 6:16 is our time for a fine human being. Jeff Kennedy, who brought us some rhubarb squares.